What does he have to do with this?
Let anything, you know what I'm talking about. Let anything. Nah, I don't have to say it right now. Don't worry about it. I don't gotta say it up here. Let anything happen, and I'ma show you and him. Bet.
Shape 145.
Yeah.
In shape. You know what I mean? So this is different from a Crawford coming up to 168, but we know his walk around weight is probably 170, 180.
That I couldn't believe, that was too insane, and honestly just baffling to think would be a real fight in 2025. Remind you that combat sports are the craziest sports on the planet.
One chaos erupted at the press conference for the upcoming showdown between Gervonta "Tank" Davis and Jake Paul, turning what was supposed to be a standard media event into an all-out verbal war. The tension spiked when Davis lost his temper after being pressed about why he chose to face Paul instead of a top-ranked challenger. Jake seized the opportunity, throwing sharp insults about Davis's personal life and background. The back and forth escalated so quickly that moderators had to intervene before things got completely out of hand.
And truly, when people run back this press conference, all the shit talk, all the fun, they're gonna be like, wow, this kid really is doing something monumental in the sport, and he's actually an insane boxer. And I'm gonna show that this guy who's been doing it his whole life has been doing it wrong his whole life.
What'd you say, Tank?
He said he gonna outbox me. Whoop-de-doo.
The one thing, when you have a fight of this magnitude, especially with Jake, because his appeal has been global. For you, Tank, do you think this is one of those fights where now all of a sudden you can show your boxing skills on a global scale to maybe people who weren't interested in boxing? All of a sudden they say, well, who is this guy?
Yeah, it's actually like, you know, now that I'm looking at it now, it's just like, I don't know, probably.
From the very beginning, it was clear this was no ordinary face-off. Standing at 6'1", Jake Paul towered over the 5'5" Gervonta Davis, a visual that perfectly summed up the pre-fight narrative. Paul played up his size advantage, confidently claiming that his reach and power would dominate the fight. But Davis, the reigning lightweight champion known for his lightning speed, brushed it off, promising that once the fists start flying, size would mean nothing. Still, many boxing analysts have criticized the matchup as uneven, some even calling it a circus act. After all, Davis, an undefeated world champion, is stepping in against a YouTuber-turned-boxer who usually fights at much heavier weights. The fact that it's an exhibition fight rather than a sanctioned bout has only fueled more debate about whether this clash truly belongs in professional boxing. Jake Paul's entire boxing journey has thrived on drama and spectacle, and this press conference proved no different. From attention-grabbing antics to personal jabs about legal troubles, every second felt like it was scripted for social media virality. What should have been a serious boxing event turned into something resembling a reality TV show. Many reporters summed it up perfectly. All flash, no real substance. The event entertained, but it offered little genuine insight into the fight itself.
Won the fight, but yeah, that was that. This time, Jake Paul is to take on Tank Davis. Tank Davis, he was recently in the news for being arrested for a domestic violence incident involving one of his kids' mother. He was alleged to have slapped her about the place. The charges were later dropped, to be fair to him. But yeah, that was when he was last in the news. I mean, what is interesting is just a couple of months ago, Tank Davis was saying openly that he'd lost his passion for boxing and that he wanted time away from the sport. There was speculation that he might even retire as he was experiencing extreme mental fatigue from boxing, depression, and there were mental health concerns over him. However, I guess the opportunity to earn a truck full of money fighting a completely worthless exhibition fight against Jake Paul was enough to make him change his mind about boxing. Funny that, isn't it? But you know what? I'm not even going to waste your time or mine critiquing this utter nonsense. Suffice to say that this so-called fight we're talking about is an exhibition, and it pits Jake Paul, who is a cruiserweight, by the way, weighs in excess of 200 pounds, and Tank Davis, who is, he was the WBA lightweight champion, who weighs in at about 135 pounds when he fights. So that's a disparity of some 65 pounds. In old money, that's about 4.5 stone. There's also a significant difference in height. Jake Paul is roughly, 6'1", 2. Gervonta Davis is 5'5" at best. So, there's a height disparity there of some 8 inches. And once again, this is Jake Paul showing total disrespect to boxing, in my opinion. Once again, continued to pimp out the sport for his own financial ends. And worse still, the powers that be in boxing allowing him to get away with it and facilitating this utter bullshit. And meanwhile, what's even worse about this is that the WBA lightweight title that Tank Davis should be defending against Lamont Roach in a rematch.
Well, veteran boxer Keith Thurman made an interesting observation. Gervonta Davis's biggest haters might actually be his biggest supporters. The same people who criticize his fights and question his skills never miss watching him perform. Their constant negativity keeps his name circulating online and boosts his popularity even further. Thurman believes that this love-hate dynamic is exactly what makes Davis one of boxing's most talked-about stars, proving that every insult thrown his way only helps him rise higher.
We've seen that Jake will kind of bounce in between doing these entertainment fights and then, trying to push toward his goal of ingraining himself in the sport of boxing, and kind of does both of them. So it's kind of a weird place to be, because he wants the respect of the boxing fans and the boxing hierarchy and hardcore boxing people, but at the same time, he'll gain some of that and then lose some of it. It's like a seesaw of his fights. Like one fight, and be like, okay, that's a real fight, or that's a real fight. Oh, and he'll win the fight. Julio Cesar Chavez, real fighter, maybe past his prime, whatever, but goes and wins that fight pretty easily, and then gets a lot of respect, gets a lot of the boxing hardcore love. And you have these talks about him fighting Anthony Joshua, and that was going to get even more respect. More people were like, that's fucking crazy. What are you, myself included? That seemed like a massive risk, but a lot of people were like, okay, fair play. Anthony Joshua, that's a real heavyweight. Jake wants to fight him. He's a psycho, but fair play. And then you announce this one, and it's like, well, that's the same thing people have been saying about Jake for years. So it's a weird spot to be in for him, for sure. But I talked about this not being the first choice, and I don't think it was, because Coppinger reports next that for Jake Paul to face Anthony Joshua collapsed over network issues. Now, we had all heard the talks, and they were pretty public, from Eddie Hearn, from Jake. Makisa Badarian, Jake's manager, was over in the UK on, I think, Sky Sports, talking about the fight and saying how it was a real possibility.
5 Sports analyst Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back when discussing the growing trend of mismatched exhibition fights, especially Jake Paul's rumored bout with Mike Tyson. He called the idea disappointing and even disgusting, urging Paul to take on real competition instead of aging legends or non-boxers. Yet Smith also gave Paul credit for his promotional genius, acknowledging how he's drawn millions of new fans into the sport. After the controversial draw between Davis and Lamont Roach earlier this year, Smith also praised Davis's attitude, saying his immediate call for a rematch showed true championship character, a fighter determined to silence every critic and reclaim his dominance.
Happy with Tank. First off, don't watch Tank. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? You support it, then what you doing? You can't not support and support at the same time, right? So if you're a boxing purist, then this fight with Roach is really more for you. It's going to be more up your alley, you know? If you just like all entertainment, all fights, all hypes, all everything, then you're going to want to tune in to the Tank and Paul's show there, you know, because that's all for entertainment. What does it say? For entertainment purposes only, right? It's just say like somewhere in the small print of the promotion. For entertainment, don't do this at home, kids. You know, sometimes.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer. For entertainment purposes only, you know? So, you know, it's